All right, welcome Dwayne, Cody, and Danny from Prizefighter Boxing to the studio. Thank you guys for coming down.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so Dwayne, give us a little bit of an outline. You guys another fight coming up here, another boxing event. Yeah, give us some of the details.
That's right. Yeah, August 10th at the Packard Music Hall. Danny Rosenberger is headlining, and we're having another professional boxing match.
Yeah, exciting. Yeah, glad. The first one went excellent. Had to turn some people away at the door, which is always a good thing and a bad thing. That means people are coming out to watch us fight, not just me, the other pros here in town. So yeah, we need a bigger venue. So that's what we did. We're going for Packard Music Hall, August 10th.
Nice guys, nice. So yeah, talk a little bit about sort of the state of boxing in the Mahoning Valley. It's always been a pretty good stronghold, I think, for boxing. We've had a lot of champion fighters and stuff from the area. But yeah, where do you see it kind of now, as maybe compared to some recent years past, and then maybe even sort of the glory days, maybe back when Boom Boom was fighting.
Yeah. How I look at it personally, like as a fighter, personally, so everybody looks back is all the previous world champs we had here in Youngstown. That's what everybody talks about. But a lot of people don't understand. We have fighters right now that are in Youngstown trying to make a name, and you don't want to do things, myself included. So I think it's alive here. It's alive. Boxing's alive here, Mahoning, Trumbull County, and that's what we proved that in April. So we're just gonna put a little bit more on the top.
Yeah, I concur. I mean, boxing never left. The platform left, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Prizefighter Boxing brought back that platform for professionals, and you know a little bit about it too. You follow Jake Ruscio, like we were talking about before. So to have a fight in your hometown, it's huge. They have a lot of boxers, Danny being the one that has traveled all over the world to go find a fight, and to fight at home. It's huge, right? Yeah. Because he is a ticket seller. He's a draw, and people want to watch him because he's extremely exciting to watch. But when you don't have that opportunity to go somewhere else or to go make it for yourself, it's hard as a boxer. There's a lot of gyms here, but if you don't have that motivation or connection, there's a lot of different aspects of boxing, right? If you're not going out and doing it or getting a manager to do it for you, like Danny has done in the past, it's very hard to do. It's just like the matchmaking on our side, we have to go do it ourselves and bring people from all over the world here to Youngstown. But
did you feel fortunate to fight here in the Valley?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, I'm excited for this fight.
Yeah.
So, Danny, you're gonna going for your 20th win here.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about sort of your kind of career arc, because like I've seen a lot about you obviously recently in the area and kind of the hype around you recently.
Yeah.
But like you don't tend to see that so much. Like I guess with fighters usually like the first 10 fights, they're kind of protected. Like anybody that's sort of potential, they kind of go up. You know what I mean?
I'm the opposite.
So you came out and you lost a bunch early and then kind of.
Right.
Came
so
back
we
more seriously
covered.
for a second
We
win?
kind of covered the story last time we were over here. I kind of gave a little brief, overcast of it. Yes, we started out, really rough. After I was done with college, I was working and I wasn't making much money, and I wasn't taking it too serious. I was just doing it because I loved it. I love boxing. I loved being around it. So that's what I did. And but I was competing with these guys who train every day, multiple times, and I wouldn't even be in the gym. They would call me on a Friday night. I'd be out with my friends. Hey, you want to fight tomorrow? How much? $3,000. I was like, yeah, give me 4. And I go the distance with these guys who now are 18, 19-1, 20-0. So I'm like, okay. Then so I told Dwayne this whole story, and I said it last time. So I fought at Mountaineer Casino. Long story short, so I won some money. So I started my masonry company, and from there I was able to train, and I wasn't taking dumb money fights. So that me training full time now, going for my 20th win, I haven't lost in 3.5, 4 years.
Do you think, like, did that hurt you? Like, what I mean, like from a career perspective, because everybody looks for the 20-0 guys, or the 21-0, you know what I mean, like that sort of thing. Like having those blemishes, do you think it hurt, or did it help that you were in the ring with some of these guys that were so good?
It's both has its advantage and disadvantages. definitely it hurts because I have 9 losses on my record. So people are like, okay, you know, he's not that good. But then they see you have 15 wins straight. So something's going well. But then again, I know what it's like to lose. So I'm not afraid to lose. You're like, I'll fight anybody. It doesn't matter to me. So I have that on my card. Then again, now I'm winning. I don't want to lose. So people don't really know, you know, which Danny Rosenberger they're going to get. They're going to get the old me or the new me. You know, the new me is dangerous, and people want to avoid that because I have a different style. You know, I'm not easy to deal with.
When did it click for you? Like, when did it click where you're like, hey, I could really be good at this? When did it go from you're just kind of taking fights like you said to like, oh, I could be really good at this?
So I didn't fight, you know, during COVID. I didn't fight for 2 years. I took a fight back, actually down in your area, Morgantown, West Virginia.
Morgantown. We started we started it for you.
That was what's his name?
My old sparring partner, Zach Randolph.
Yeah, Zach Randolph. You know, he was 5 or 6-0, big boy, 6'1". You know, I fought him at 168 pounds, and I walk around 158. And I didn't really see much on him. I was like, okay, you know, he can punch, but he's flat-footed, you know, no movement. I was like, I'll give him trouble. I was like, yeah, I'll take the fight at 168 pounds. And I went, I dominated, and I knocked him down, and I hurt him. So I was like, okay. Then I seen him win, and he keeps winning after I beat him. Tough dude, but like from there, I'm like, okay, yeah, I could be trouble. Then sparring, you know, once I started getting my road work and everything in focus and in shape, yeah, I give a lot of people trouble.
So here's my spin on it too. Like just going through this fight and last, working with Danny, it's very hard to match Danny. You're right. When people see, you know, 19-9, they're like, I don't want a shitty opponent. Yeah. And then they see him, or they do want a shitty opponent for a win. Yeah. And they see him, they're like, what am I going to gain out of fighting a guy with 9 losses when I'm 20-0? Right? So they weigh that, and they're like, I want
but what if my guy loses to a guy with 9 losses? Yeah,
and it looks terrible on their loss. From a you know, a generalist perspective. From a boxing perspective, people know Danny's really good, so that's why it's very hard to match him. So it's either we get a guy that's willing to do it, like we just got these last 2 fights, or we're paying out of pocket
a lot of money. A
guy that, you know, is not worth the money, right? They're just asking for a lot of money for the risk, right? For their career risk. So it's very hard to match Danny at this point.
Kind of speaking to that a little bit, what does boxing as a sport, do you guys, in your opinion, have to do to get the best fighters against the best fighters? Like, you see it in UFC. Boxing, it seems like fighters are protected for so long, and sometimes they don't ever fight. Like, guys get to like such an elite level, and then you don't see sort of the best against the best. What do you think, you know, boxing kind of has to do to,
I feel like,
fix that?
So that's like boxing altogether these days. Nobody wants to lose the O because you got the O, you know what I mean? You're more valuable on paper,
right? And
you look, you know what I mean? Just like Danny's got 9 losses, or 9. Yeah. Just like what he said, nobody wants to take that risk against somebody like him, and especially like Danny's style. You know what I mean? He fights off the back foot real well. He's got a sharp jab, and his right hand drops real good. So, yeah, I mean, it's just difficult getting matched up, man. It's what it is, just getting matched up with these big names.
So I think what it takes at this point is what we're trying to build. Like, that's kind of the avenue and the vision. It's opportunity for us. That's how I see it at the moment. We're putting together good matches. Like, especially Youngstown, they know, like, when they come out, if they see a good fight, you'll win the crowd. Just like Danny did when he fought Nico Ali-Walsh in Vegas. When you dominate a fighter like that, people were chanting Nico's name prior to the fight. During the fight, after the fight,
it completely 360.
It's complete change. It is. It really was. At this point, it seems cliche, but he has a Rocky Balboa type career at this point, right? Like, we named this, we taglined this event Rosenberger's Rise for a reason, because we totally flipped his career trajectory over the last, you know, however many years you've been on a streak. So.
Going on 4 years.
For what we're trying to build, like, that is what we're trying to attack, is that those garbage fights. Even on this card, we've had dozens of people trying to get on the card, and the bad thing about that side of boxing is those 2-0 guys, 5-0, 10-0, whatever it is, they want to pay. They'll get on my card or our card, and they'll pay for their opponent. So it's a free fight for us. that we turn down. And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
From our business financial perspective.
But we want even, we want competitive fights.
Yes.
You go to these shows down like, no offense, West Virginia down there, or Kentucky, or even PA. I'm not knocking their shows; they're good shows, but you go there. There's one side, there's A side, a B side, and that every single person on the A side wins. They knock them out. You have a 10-0 guy fighting a 1-25 guy, and we that's all we want. We want good competitive fights. And even last time we had a couple real close fights, and Youngstown guys didn't get the decision. So there's no hometown cooking here. You have to win. You have to come here to win.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that too, because that's another thing, with boxing kind of as a whole that I think people might cite as kind of an issue is yeah, you do get the hometown judges, and just like you guys said, if you guys paying to be on fights, and there have been instances where guys have clearly, you could see, have lost, but they get the decision or whatever. And I've been in fights too where that's happened, in in certain places, like, oh, there's no way that guy won, but they give it to him because it's he's from that area. Is there anything you guys think can kind of be done about that? I mean, you guys are putting on good fights, and you kind of don't have that hometown thing. You guys got to go out and still and earn it and win.
Yeah.
But I mean, just speaking of this whole to boxing as a whole, is there anything that you think that kind of can be done to kind of tamp that down a little bit?
Don't leave it in the judges' hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the truth. That is the truth, right? There's 3 judges, and they look at it in a different light. Like, everybody has their own eyeballs, and they have their own opinion. And we had those cards last time. I thought we had a couple bad decisions. Yeah. But seriously, you can't really leave it in the judge's hands, and you have to go for it.
It's crazy how one judge has it, winning 4 rounds. The other judge has him losing every one of them rounds. It's weird how that works.
And it's the commission's. It's their duty to put in, well-trained judges. Like, it's their job. They should go back after every fight and look at it. And I had those conversations with the commissioner after, where I said I do not want that judge on my card anymore. Yeah. And you have some say, but I don't want to dictate too much, right? But I would say, they had very bad cards. I do not want them on. Whether they put them on or not, I don't know.
So, once again, Saturday, August 10th, you guys are going to be at Packard Music Hall in Warren. Speaking of the venue, you guys, does it matter the venue you guys are in? Does that take any kind of? Does it change your approach at all? Like, if you're wrestling, or not wrestling, if you're fighting somewhere really whether it's real small or somewhere larger.
Yeah, it definitely does. Like, for me, I love the lights. The lights impact everything. Same as Cody, we both fought in Vegas on ESPN, the big lights, and I compared our last show to that. That's how I felt. Like, the environment, the crowd. That's like what it felt like compared to the other shows I fought at. Some of it just dull, or you're in a gym or like a cafeteria with tables. You're like going for a sparring session. This is like, you feel like professional, and like, I'd rather fight in those type of shows all day, every day, compared to the old style, even how other people do it compared to our shows we've had.
Yeah, I watched your guys' last show, and it was actually really good. Like, the matchups were spot on. The one fight with, was it Julius?
Yeah.
I thought that was a great fight. Honestly, yeah, he lost split decision, which could have went either way, really. Spot on matchup, really. And I think Danny's been doing and Dwayne's been doing a great job.
Talk a little bit to Danny, as far as sort of the history of Youngstown boxers. Yeah. Do you take anything from some of those old fighters? I mean, is there any kind of influence? I mean, do you model yourself after anybody, or are there or is it like a little bit of kind of everything?
I'm gonna be honest. So I get asked that question a lot. Do I follow any other fighters? Do I shadow, mimic? I fight like Danny Rosenberger. That's how I fight. I don't see a lot of fighters like me. It's hard to compare myself to any of them, because they're how they are and I am how I am. I like to fight the way I fight. I know my corner gets frustrated with me. They'll tell me one thing. I'm like, just give me water. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. Like, I'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't compare myself to any of them. A lot of those guys had a lot of heart, which I like that. I feel like I have a lot of heart when I'm in there. And I guess our grit, I'll compare myself to with all the Youngstown fighters. We have that go get it we hate to lose more than we like to win. And but yeah, I fight Danny Rosenberger's fight. That's how I feel. It's my style.
Is there, too? I mean, you see this with Floyd Mayweather. Obviously, comes to mind as probably the most successful at doing this. But talk a little bit about the entertainment factor when it comes to boxing too. Like, you guys are obviously fighters, but you're also entertainers in a way too. I mean, how much does that play into your guys' prep and kind of how you present yourselves? When you're in the ring.
No, it definitely does. It comes from in shape, what you look like. Everybody's looking. Your outfit you wear, your trunks, your shoes, your gloves, even all that comes into account. But as far as like the entertainment aspect, like Cody, for instance, Cody's a banger. He'll come straight forward and trade with you, and he'll get hit and give it back. Me, I don't want to get hit. I like to move. I like to dance. I like to box. And a lot of people don't like that. They're like, oh, he's running, but no, I'm boxing. I'm, 20 years down the road, I want to be able to know what I'm doing. So I don't want to get hit. So if I can move, but if I know I'm going to get hit, it's boxing. But that for me, it's entertaining. I like to see great boxing, like slipping punches, countering. I think that's beautiful. Other people like that toe-to-toe style, like you. You're toe-to-toe, nonstop.
I mean, I would say probably like 15 fights prior, you were a little different, though, than you are now. I mean, you were still slipping and moving, so kind of on the counter, but now you counter with a lot of punches.
I'll tell you why I used to do that. Yeah. So the reason I used to do all that, so I mean, I still moved a lot and I slipped a lot, but I just never let my hands go because I knew I was never in shape. So I was afraid if I let my hands go, I'm gonna get tired. And being tired and getting punched is probably one of the worst things on the planet. So now, like, I know I'm in shape, so I know that's important to me. That road work, sparring, the gym work, just basic stuff. That's really important because like now I could slip and make them pay for it. And that's the difference from me 3-4 years ago to now. I know I'm in shape. I can move still, slip, and make them pay, and punch back rather than just look good and not doing anything. So that's the difference between then and now, and that's why I did that. Mr. Gadd.
Kind of speaking of to being in shape, one of the most, I think, frustrating things for boxing fans, like if you're watching a fight, right, is when you get a guy that is clearly either out of shape or out of gas and is just hugging the whole time. Or
paycheck.
How frustrating is that for you as a fighter when guys are just kind of just constantly wanting to hold on, and then how do you pop them to get them off? You know what I mean? Like does it get frustrating for you in the ring when guys are just kind of hanging on for dear life?
Hey, so that last fight I had, that dude had a straightforward. I mean, he just kept coming and coming and coming. I was hitting him with everything. And I think it was the 4th round, and he was like dancing around after I hit him clean in the face. I'm like, oh my God, dude, I don't know if I can keep this up for 10 rounds. I was like, wow, how's this dude not tired or like done? And he did something that kind of pissed me off. So I baited him. I hit him with the uppercut, put him down. And I was like, in between that next round, the 4th and the 5th, I told my corner, I was like, this is it. I was like, I'm ending this shit. I was like, I'm not doing this for 5 more rounds. My hands were sore from hitting this dude. So yeah, it's aggravating, but it's part of it. It's part of the fuck. You don't know what to expect. Like my guy opponent right now, I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what kind of sparring. Is he coming back for a check, or does he think he's gonna beat me? I don't know. We'll figure that out on August 10th.
And each fight's different, right? Like,
yeah, you can't fight each fighter the same way.
Like his guy was conditioned, and he was a different style fighter coming straight forward. And Danny was exchanging, but if his opponent was throwing more punches, Danny's gas would have been drained even more. Yeah. So Danny would have been holding on, right, as a tactic. So it's really dependent on the opponent. Each bout is completely different than the next. So it really depends. Even if you're in shape, you can get gassed big time.
Especially the way you fight. You fight like that guy just fought.
Oh yeah.
He just keeps. He came to him and I went to Columbia together and fought.
Yeah.
Fun.
So Cody, how did we know Danny's kind of told us his background and stuff in interviews down here before, man. But how did you get into fighting and what? Yeah,
I started young. Actually, like 8 was when I got into it. Fought for on the USA team there for a little bit, and for USA Boxing had like 50, probably close to 60 amateur fights. then I had a little bit of a break. I played high school sports, joined the service when I was 18. So that took, and then I had deployments and stuff after that. And then I came back to boxing as a pro when I was like 24. It's been this last 6 years it has its upside down. Yeah, that's how it is. Boxing's it's a lot of up and downs unless you got like some serious management that's protecting you, which is another reason I think boxing is kind of like hurting right now, because that's why a lot of these big names aren't fighting each other because of the promoting side of it and the business side of it. Like, it is what it is, but hopefully, I feel like eventually we're gonna have to break through that, because eventually boxing is gonna stop being watched, because like look at MMA, look at UFC. Them guys, everybody fights everybody. Nobody cares about the record. They want the best guys in there against the best guys, and I give them hats off to those.
There's a few fighters like that, boxers now that will fight, but those are the upcoming hungry guys. Them guys already world champs, 25, 24-0. They want to keep that like you said before.
Yeah,
they don't want to take a risk. I'm the risk,
Yeah. And like my record, like I started off 0-1, so I was like, man, I gotta fix something. I gotta, you know what I mean? And actually, me and Danny was on the same card in Pittsburgh.
I started out 0-3-3.
It just happens like that sometimes, and you gotta find it. You gotta find that team that's gonna be good for you. You gotta find that sparring that's good for you. You know what I mean? You gotta do it on your own. That's especially like at this level right now. I mean, Danny's established. I feel like I'm somewhat established now. And you just got to pick and choose your fights and make sure it's the right style. You know what I mean? You got to find that dancing partner like the Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti days. You know what I mean? Those were dancing partners, and those made legendary fights that will forever, be in the books. And that's honestly that's what I live for nowadays for on the boxing side is getting those good fights. And so, you know what I mean? When I come back to Ohio, I'm like, they're like, oh man, that was a great fight, like 2-3 years ago or whatever,
Yeah, so
it lasts forever.
When I approach, because me and Cody have been buddies and we talked, I was like, man, I really want you on that card in April, and he couldn't. You had deployment, or you were doing
I was
military.
Overseas, yep.
So I was like, well, the next one we'll get you on. So I reached out for this Christopher Hadley. That's it, right? Christopher Hadley,
Chris Hadley, yep.
So 4-4 record, but he's fought all good guys, and dude, very good fighter, can bang.
Hasn't been stopped.
No, never been stopped. So I approached Cody. I was like, hey, what about this guy? He goes, think it'll be a good fight? I was like, think it'll be an excellent fight. He goes, yeah, I'm in. So I respect people like that. And Hadley, at first he said no, then he goes, yeah, I guess I'll do it. Had to come up a little bit of money, and he said, yeah. So I thought it was a great fight, and I respect Cody for taking it. I know this kid's tough, and so does he, and that'll be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
How challenging is it balancing, at the level that you guys are, balancing work life with boxing? How challenging is it to make all that work?
Where do we start?
Yeah. So,
because there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? That's the problem. There's not enough time, especially if you have a family. Like I'm getting ready to have a baby at the end of January.
I just had one.
And yeah.
I mean, Dwayne knows too, and I'm fortunate to have Dwayne. He does all the hard business stuff that I don't want to deal with. And
but just training, boxing.
Training in itself,
that's in itself, and you have your own company.
I own a masonry company, like I said before. So I build chimneys, I do block foundation, stone. Like I'm doing hard labor all day, and I'm up all night with a newborn baby too. But besides the baby, working all day in itself, then going home, changing, you're still all dirty, then you run. Then you go to the gym. You get home and like you are beat, like you were tired. Like you don't have that. We don't have that luxury to where we can train in the morning, take a break, train in the afternoon. We have to work that 9 to 5, bust ass, and then go to the gym. I think that has advantages, disadvantages, but I mean I wouldn't change anything for it.
Absolutely.
Could you guys envision, like I guess how many more fights do you guys think for each of you it'll take? Or how many more wins, I guess, to kind of build it up to where all you do is box?
Oh man,
better have a real big upset.
Yeah,
to where you're getting into like the top 25 in the country. Like Danny, what are you like? You're top 30 some in the country.
Yeah.
No, so I have visions for Danny.
Yeah. Okay.
We can talk about that. So at this point, right, when we bring something home, we're trying to have good fights, good matchups. Now, like on paper, it's a very good matchup because he's 14-2. So from that perspective, it looks good all the way around.
Yeah.
From here on out, when he beats this opponent, he needs to fight the top 50 from here on out in the world.
Yeah.
He's ranked top 50th, top 30th or so in the country, and top like 80th or so in the world for a super welterweight.
Yeah.
So he needs to fight top 50. So I would say we should, at his age, he's 33, 34?
Yeah. Yep.
How old?
34.
34 years old. We need to take the leap with the opportunity to go top 25 from here on out. So that's the way you do it. You take leaps. You take the opportunity when it comes.
Then again, it's where we come in that factor of that risk factor for them, you know, top guys.
Right.
Do they want to fight someone like me?
The reality is, the way it goes is you'll have to take it on a short notice. That's the reality for a big fight.
Yeah.
For a top 25 fight, like the bottom tier of the 25, we can have a full camp. But like a top 10, if we did get the opportunity, you would definitely take it on a short notice.
It'd be like
just like a Tim Tszyu
type
situation where he jumped in and fought that man.
1 week notice, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, those that's actually the reality at this point. But you know, we're going to keep building and fighting, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that is like the honest truth of where you're at in his career with that record, right? But for me, and Danny knows, he's a top tier athlete. Yeah, he's definitely at this point a top 20 athlete. So that's what we're going to call out. We're going to start calling out those top 20 athletes.
So what is the most devastating punch that you guys have ever taken, and what's the most devastating punch you guys have ever dished out?
Well, so mine was actually that Russian dude I fought.
Yes.
Yeah. So I
Vitaly.
Yeah, Vitaly Gubkin. Tough dude. First round. I mean, I had him. I knew after the first round, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I got him easy. So like he did his jab, he would leave it hang. He would leave it hang. So the second round, I was like, well, here it is, here it is, here it is. Hit him with the overhand right. He folded like a chair. He had to get taken away, go to the hospital. It was bad. That was the one.
Tell them about the story when you're in the bathroom prior to the fight.
Okay, so prior to this fight, so this is my second fight after coming back from COVID, right? This would be my second win in a row since my winning streak started. So I'm in the bathroom, like I'm taking my pre-fight shit, and I'm in there, I'm on my phone, and I hear this guy on the phone talking about another fight for Vitaly. Like, yeah, he goes, yeah, we have a guy, Rosenberger. He goes, this could be easy. He goes, we'll stop him within 3 rounds. He goes, this guy stinks. And like I came out, I was like, no, you're not. And he's like, why? I was like, you guys aren't stopping me. And he goes, it'll be a good fight. I'm like, no, it won't. And I didn't wash my hands, just walked right out.
They were talking about a matchup with him on a top rank card.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, they're trying to get him on a top rank card versus an up and comer. And yeah, that went away. Yeah, but he's been on a hot streak since that. He's been winning. Which looks good for me.
Nice, Cody.
I would say my punch is when I fought at the MGM a couple years ago. It's been like 4 or 5 years now. I fought this guy from the Dominican Republic, Elvis Rodriguez. He's the biggest puncher coming out of the Dominican Republic like in the last 10 years or something. And
big left-hander.
Oh, big left hand. Yeah, out of my 4 losses, 3 of them southpaws. So do the math. You know what I mean? You know who calls me all the time? Southpaws, next level southpaws. No, just I took that one on a 2-week notice. The money was good. You know what I mean? I was kind of on when you're on that hot streak, kind of like Danny's on his hot streak now, and he's feeling himself. He's feeling good about it, and that's exactly how I felt. And we got that call from Top Rank, and I was like, yeah, we got him. It's cool. 14 days, it's fine. Losing the weight was the biggest part of it, and I was like, yeah. Little did I know, we need to really train for this guy. Like it was some next level stuff for sure.
So
what happened?
So I overextended on that right hand, and that foot came with it, and he kind of just posted me up, and it was
straight left hand.
Straight left hand, and like I said, guy can punch, and that's why I like working with Danny and all his guys, because you need to get out of your comfort zone. Like I spar in West Virginia all the time. You need to come out of your comfort zone, get that different look around these, different states surrounding West Virginia for me, and be uncomfortable. So when you get those calls, you know what I mean, you already have that feeling that's set. Like, it's okay, it's fine, it's cool. I've had this feeling before. I'm gonna be fine. But yeah, you got to get in there with different styles, and you got to work everything. Like, I'm gonna work things tonight that
I'll give you some
yeah. I'm just gonna work just work different things and be prepared for anything, really. That's what it is. But no,
Talk about the other side for you.
Yeah, getting hit. Yeah, well, both of you got to talk about the other side. Yours dishing out. What was the biggest one that you dished out?
oh shoot, I would say I think I was 3-1, 4-1. We fought like in Elkins, West Virginia. You guys probably don't even know where that's at exactly. No, I fought some guy that fought in was it the Colorado Springs team? He fought on Colorado. It was Zach Kuhn.
Zach Kuhn.
Yeah, Zach Kuhn, you know him. So he had like 150, 200 amateur fights. Stud. Went to the pros, and like that transition from the amateurs to the pros
Never went over.
Yeah, it just never transferred over. Like, his style was still there, but the punching wasn't there. But no, I put him to sleep in 2. Yeah, dropped him 3 times in the first round and put him to sleep in the second. So it was good. It was like a big confidence booster for me. It really was.
So my biggest, I have 2 of them that are kind of the same. So the very first one was my second fight at the BB King Center in New York City. Maxville Saneville is his name. So he hit me. So I did some type of turn, and he hit me with the right hand right on the chin. And I went against the ropes, and I'm like, it felt like forever. I was coming back. I'm like, where am I? And I got hit with a straight right hand, and it would snap my head back, and I opened my eyes. And I'm like, I hear the crowd going crazy. I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm in a fight. I was like, holy shit. And so they woke me back up. I was like, oh my God. So then I ended up getting a draw. Yeah. So the next one was in Massachusetts versus that Kendrick Ball, who fights at 190 pounds now.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah, I fought him at 168 on a 8-day notice. Went the distance with him. I thought it could have went either way. It was a close fight.
And he knocks out most of his
knocks
guys.
everybody out besides me. So it was like in I think the end of the 5th round. I hit him with the right hand, and I stepped backwards. Then he threw like a weird hook that caught me. And the same thing. He hit me. I was like, oh, my God. Then hit me with the straight right hand. Boom. Woke me back up. I was like, oh, my God. Yeah, which is scary. But, yeah, those were the 2 hardest I've been hit.
Yeah, how challenging is it when somebody tags you real good in the ring to, like, regain your composure and kind of reset? I mean, because most people, even if they've just been in a regular fight sometime in their life, you might get popped once or twice, but generally somebody breaks it up real fast or whatever. Like, you're in the ring, you're still going.
That's what like condition comes in. With your legs are strong, you can stay up. You have weak legs, like you'll go down. Like or you have a weak neck, you go to sleep. You have a strong neck, you can absorb them, which is better for your head, your brain, everything. It's kind of like, you ever have deja vu? Yeah, it's like you get hit real hard and you have deja vu and see stars, and depends how quickly it comes back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Right, you're like deja vu. You're like, man, I've been here before.
And
you're like,
You see the stores. Eventually, they're going away. All right, you're back in action. You know what I mean? Back in the fight.
Yeah, it's like muscle memory.
Yes.
And that's why I put a lot of emphasis on like the amateurs, upcoming guys, like even shadow boxing or hitting the mitts. Move your head, because a lot of guys will do the basic 1, 2. They're staying still. I'm like, dude, I was like, move your head.
Train as you fight.
Well, dude, I'm just shadow box. I was like, listen, do that now. You're gonna do that in a fight.
Train as you fight.
Yeah.
So, what in your changing gears just a little bit here? What, in your guys' opinion, is the best boxing movie ever?
Oh man,
all the Rockies. I don't know.
I love Cinderella Man.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Cinderella Man.
I like
was
the Rocky
good.
movies.
I remember in the Rocky movies as a kid watching, and I think one of the first ones I saw was Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, and just how they fight and how nobody ever puts their guard up. They just get bashed in the face the whole time.
Right.
And then I remember seeing real actual boxing not long after that. I was like, oh, this isn't like Rocky. It's like you don't realize that I'm 5 years old. You don't realize people can't just take straight up, punches right to the face.
Listen, if this was
over.
easy, everybody would do it. And that's why you don't play this shit. Yeah, you don't play it like you play baseball. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Mark Wahlberg movie about Mickey Ward, that was really good.
Yeah, The Fighter.
The Fighter.
That was a great one, too.
That was that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice. Well, Dwayne, give us a little bit of more of a rundown, like I said, of the 10th, and again, what people can expect. Once again, Saturday, August 10th at Packard Music Hall. Where can folks get tickets, and what's sort of the rest of the card look like?
Yeah, you can go to Ticketmaster.com. They're on Ticketmaster this time around, so very easy to find.
Packard Music Hall also.
The Packard Music Hall has our event set up and direct link to the tickets.
Do they search the event tagline like Rosenberger or Rosenberger's Rise? Do they do that to get right to the?
I mean, either. I believe the best way to do it is searching Prizefighter Boxing. And I believe that's the best way. I should know this a lot more, but the venue is Packard Music Hall. So searching anything in Warren or Packard Music Hall, you can find it. So it's very easy to find. Our social media is Packard Music Hall has a website. They have a box office, so you can get tickets from either the box office or Ticketmaster directly. Mm-hmm. And PrizefighterBoxing.com also has everything about Danny, the rest of the Prizefighter boxing team, and the ticket information.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of the other confirmed fights for the card?
Yeah, the co-feature we have right now is Tommy Karpinski versus Joe Jones. So Tommy Karpinski is a former world champion. Mm-hmm. So he's coming back in a comeback fight. He's 30-8, light heavy. I think we're actually going to have it at cruiser this time around. Yep. So Joe Jones, his opponent, was on our card, her previous card in April. So he's the person that fought Darnell Boone. So they went to a draw decision. So we decided to match them up. So Tommy, he's a former NABA world champion. Yeah. Knocked out beat Chad Dawson.
Bad Chad Dawson.
He lost a decision, and I think probably a KO. Against Adonis Stevenson. Yes. So Adonis Stevenson beat him for the WBO light heavyweight title. So very seasoned guy, very popular guy.
Then Boone beat Adonis.
Actually, Darnell, and that's kind of how we loop this around. Darnell Boone knocked out Adonis Stevenson, and then
he got
lost against Adonis Stevenson as well. So that's kind of how we kind of
Joe Jones, and we put them together. We thought it was a good matchup. Joe Jones, seasoned, veteran. I think he's 14-11, 15-11, something like that. Like tough guy, be a good comeback fight for Tommy.
Yeah, I'll let Cody talk about his bout. I'll let you talk about David. But Brandon Vega is another prospect that we have. He's one of my favorite prospects we have on the team. He's 4-0, 4 knockouts. Extremely hard to match up. Mm-hmm. So when you're that good, nobody wants to take a loss against somebody, right? They know he's very good. So he's very hard to match up. So any step-up opponent that we get for him is very costly. So it's just like for us, it's just a financial decision on who to get or who will take the fight and who to get. So and we really don't want to, match him up against somebody with a bad record because it just does nothing for him at this point. He needs to really excel.
First 4 fights, and I don't think it's helping him at all. Yeah, he has 4 wins by knockout, but he's not fighting, any worthy guys of any caliber to help him get better. You do got to take them step up. So you're better than this guy, but he's gonna fight you a little bit. These guys are not fighting. So that's what we're trying to get. Someone who could give him a good fight.
Yeah, and this kid is a real pro. Like all he does is train. He's 26 years old. All he does is train, and he's ready to go. So like he needs to start taking those steps because if he doesn't get tested now, when he has this type of lifestyle, it's not going to be better for him in the future at all.
Once bills start rolling in, he's got to.
So Cody talked about the Ryan Caldwell Julius Thomas fight.
It was a great fight.
So we are bringing back Ryan Caldwell. He's 1-0. It was a fantastic fight, action-packed kid. Yes. He's stepping up hugely. So he's fighting a 10-fight experienced guy. He's 1-0. He's fighting a 4-6 guy. Sean Raw is super good. He's very good. For a 4-6, like you see that upside-down record, you don't think he's very good. But it's extremely dangerous to fight a 1-0 guy.
That'll be
it was very it was a very strange conversation to talk to Ryan's father, Roy, and Ryan about taking this bout, because they were just excited to get on the card, and it was an easy conversation. So they just watched a little tape on him and said, okay.
Yeah.
And those are the type of people I just love working with. I love it. And this fight's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be such an action-packed fight. And Julius Thomas is on the card again, going for his first win against Kamiko Hall. So both guys are going for their first professional win.
One of those got to go, baby.
One of those always got to go.
One of those got to go.
So being a pro and not having a win, I mean, these guys are just going to go at it, right?
I know Julius is ready. I've done a lot of round sparring with him. Kamiko, I don't know much about him, but I've talked to him, get him on the card if it was with him or somebody else, but he said he's been training and eating well, and so hopefully, makes a difference. He said before, because he wasn't really training and he needed the money, and he goes, yeah, I'm training now. I have some money saved up. So we'll see. I hope, it'll be a good fight. Someone's going to get their first win.
Yeah, and we have a couple heavyweights too. One's in limbo right now, Donald Haydensworth. He recently fought an Olympic guy, Torres. Got drilled by him, so he's trying to come back and fight, but his fights in limbo might not happen. Devin Vargas versus Del Long, that's going to be a solid matchup. Devin Vargas is such a seasoned guy, and Del Long, he's just a little younger, but he's coming up too. So the heavyweight atmosphere in a fight, it's just substantially different than a lightweight or super welterweight. When you go from those fights to heavy, the whole vibe in the place changes. So it's always, I love having heavyweights on fights, because of the thump of the gloves and the roar of the crowd. It's just a different story. And most of those fights never go the distance. So you always get some type of crazy action. So it's always great to have a heavyweight fight. And then we have a pro debut for two guys, Verdez Evans, Dez.
Brickhouse.
Yeah, and then Christopher Thornton. So Verdez is out of Golden String Boxing Club in Youngstown.
Yeah, Verdez is out of Golden String Boxing, my gym, and real tough dude. He's 35 years old, making his debut. He had a handful of amateur fights when he was younger down. I can't remember exactly what state, but he was down south. Then moved back here. He drives an Amish right now, and he's been training really hard. Had a couple amateur fights. Some went good, some not so good, because he was out of shape. And I told him, I was like, you have to be in shape, if you want to do your debut. And he's been working hard the past few weeks. So, this will probably either make or break him. Either he'll continue to fight, or if he's not in shape, he's tired, gets stopped, or you don't know. Which I've seen him spar. I've sparred with him, and I've seen some fights where you can see the potential is there. He has all the skills. It's just the heart and his conditioning, and we'll see that here in a couple weeks. And his opponent, same kind of same resume, I would say. A few amateur fights. He had a handful, then didn't fight for a few years. Just had 2 or 3 recent, and just wants to make a debut. He's 31 years old. So it's a good matchup. Even matchup. There's no lopside here, no A, B. It's whoever's going to be in better shape, whoever wins more, fights more. So, even fight there. It's going to be awesome.
Talking about David and
Cody. So then we have David Rodriguez out of Akron. 6-1 guy. Hasn't fought 2.5 years. Started out 6-0. Then he fought, stepped up in a big Vegas fight, I think it was, and he was fighting good. It was a close fight. He got a cut on his eye, and the doctor stopped it. But it was even. So kick and fight. He had a lot of amateur fights, over 150 amateur fights. A lot of experience as a little kid. He's fighting a guy out of Mexico right now. Ulises Jimenez. So he has almost 60 fights. 24 and 35,
Wow.
But it's not like he's losing in a row. He's, loss, win, loss, win, loss, loss, win, win.
Yeah.
So, he's fighting decent guys. So he's been the distance with a lot of guys, a lot of experience. Big step up for David. Hat off to him taking this fight for someone like that, but he shouldn't have a problem with them. We'll see. It'll be a good fight. Cody, one more fight.
Yeah. So I got Chris Hatley. He's at Little Rock, Arkansas.
Ooh, Arkansas guys are tough.
Yeah,
Bro.
they are. They're
They
tough.
are.
He's I'm glad to just have somebody right-handed in my height this time. It's awesome. And we fight similar. So and he comes from the MMA background too. But if you read his record, I mean, he's knocked off a lot of undefeated prospects coming up. So he's dangerous. And those are the ones you got to watch. Those are the ones you really got to focus and zone in on. And I'm gonna try some different stuff with him, but I just have that feeling the way he fights and the way I fight, the fight's gonna break out eventually in the second or third round, and then it's gonna just be a banger from to the end.
Toe to toe.
That's exactly how it goes. I'm famous for it. It's crazy, but it's
the kind of fights we brought to you.
Yeah, you gotta keep that composure, stay on the game plan. But then sometimes it just goes out the window. And honestly, some of those fights are the ones you want to watch. Those ones that break out. So, but it is what it is. But no, it'll be a good fight. That's a promise. It will be a good fight for sure. This is a good matchup. Yeah.
Awesome. So, once again, Saturday, August 10th, Packard Music Hall. You got commentary by Billy Lyle and Kelly Pavlik, right? And
it's awesome.
Boom Boom Mancini will be in the house as well. So, so we'll be at prizefighterboxing.com. Get your tickets, man. But thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate being here.